Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a good summer so far. Well, it's time for me to give another report on all the movies and video games I've been watching or playing for the first time lately. Now, I said earlier that I was going to upload all my reviews as individual shorts from now on. Yeah, I haven't entirely kept that promise, have I? You see, I knew June was going to be an especially busy month for me, given how many movies and games I thought would occupy my time, so I thought I might as well just go with the longer compilation video like I did last year. So let's start talking about those movies and games, shall we? As always, we'll start with everything I've seen in the cinema this month. Now, there are a couple of other movies that I've gone to see before this, namely Sinners, Thunderbolts, and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, but I've already reviewed those in the form of shorts. So we'll be starting this video with 28 Years Later. Let's see how well I thought it fared after a great first movie and a mediocre second one. 28 Years Later. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland return for this sequel that covers some interesting topics like an isolated island society and how the infected have evolved in the intervening years. But then the last half hour drastically shifts gears, indulging in a theoretically powerful message that the film beforehand never even implies. My rating, 3 stars. Seriously, my exact reaction when this movie ended was that meme Krusty the Clown line.
What the hell was that?
Next, Elio. The drama is a little forced, and it even includes the dreaded liar reveal cliché, but it's still hard not to feel for the characters when the stakes are raised, and there's no shortage of creativity in the alien designs. Overall, it's another of Pixar's good but not exceptional offerings. My rating, 3.5 stars. F1. I was not impressed. The action's fine and the story's not bad, but the characters aren't really compelling enough to disguise the corny moments, and overall there's no solid theme. There are vague ideas, like most prominently putting the team before yourself, but they don't coalesce into a cohesive whole. My rating, 3 stars. Now we move on to a few older movies that I've started watching. My reason for doing so is a bit involved, so bear with me, or feel free to skip ahead to this time. You see, on Mastodon, the social media platform that I use, I started seeing a weekly hashtag trending called LetterboxdFriday, where you post a screenshot of your recent activity tab on Letterboxd, which shows the last 4 movies you've marked as watched. I thought it was a cool idea and wanted to join the trend, but obviously I had to watch enough movies each week to at least fill the 4 in my recent activity. Well, that gave me a perfect excuse to start finishing all the film series I hadn't yet. I have a document listing all the series I've at least partially seen, and there are many, many blank ratings in there. I decided it was high time I started filling in those gaps. So the first series we'll be looking at is the 3 Ace Ventura movies. Yes, even the one that everyone forgets about. Now, I usually restrict these reviews to titles I'm seeing for the first time. The whole point is to capture my first impressions, and I'd already seen the original Ace Ventura before, so I'm recording my review of it here just for the sake of completion. So, here we go. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Not my kind of comedy. Jim Carrey gets a couple of laughs here and there, but I mostly find his clowning more irritating than amusing, especially the awkward social situations. The mystery is deliberately ridiculous, but still somewhat engaging as it advances, although the big reveal would not fly today. My rating, 2.5 stars. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. I didn't like the original much, but this sequel is even worse. Ace's antisocial behavior is even more unbearable, and it repeats so many gags that it feels like a pale imitation almost immediately. The character's shtick is just constant clowning, which hardly seems appropriate when he's supposedly in peril. My rating, 2 stars. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr. Even the low expectations set by the title couldn't have prepared me for this. It's horrendous on every conceivable level. The acting is horrible, the camera work is amateurish, the editing is a mess, the attempts at humor are beyond brainless, and it seems determined to piss all over its legacy. My rating is an easy 1 out of 10, or half a star if you prefer. Next are the 2 AVP movies. I'm not going to get into my thoughts on the whole Alien and Predator series because we'll be here all day. For now, all we care about is those 2 crossovers. AVP, Alien vs. Predator. When it does what it says on the tin, it does get kind of fun, but the film otherwise is deeply flawed. The human characters are dull, and the editing is often an incomprehensible mess. There are a couple of blatant references to the original movies, which feel incredibly cheap. My rating, 2 stars. AVPR, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. An all-around worthless sequel. The humans are utterly uninteresting, and the violence they suffer is usually unearned and therefore feels mean-spirited. Even the titular fights are unsatisfying, because the jumbled editing makes the action extremely hard to follow, and everything's so dark you can barely tell what you're looking at. My rating, 1.5 stars. Next is the American Tail series. Now again, only the latter 2 movies were new to me. I've already seen the first 2 before, so I'm including my reviews of them just to complete the set. An American Tail. I can see why the hardships that Fievel goes through would be emotionally devastating for kids. While still good, it doesn't fully work for me because of certain pacing issues. In particular, some relationships are very flimsily established. One highlight is Somewhere Out There, a touching moment of hopeful harmony. My rating, 3.5 stars. An American Tail, Fievel Goes West. It improves on the original in certain aspects, but sometimes feels too much like a rehash, and the overall style is very cartoonish. Still, I like the songs and the western parody. Qatar Wall is a cracking villain, and though it's clearly not Don Bluth, the animation's still good. My rating, 3 stars. An American Tail, The Treasure of Manhattan Island. It starts as a generic treasure hunt, then becomes a blatant Pocahontas ripoff halfway through. It's clearly going for an allegory of American history like the first 2 movies, but it's handled so much less gracefully that it comes off as corporate pandering. Together with bad songs, it's lame all around. My rating, 2 stars. An American Tail, The Mystery of the Night Monster. This 4th installment doesn't even attempt the real-world commentary the first 3 had, instead telling a low-stakes story that gives it the air of a TV filler episode. The songs are lame, except for Get the Facts, which is irritatingly catchy. Overall, it's uninspired, disposable, but harmless enough kids schlock. My rating, 2 stars. Next comes the Anaconda series, which funnily enough follows the exact same pattern as the American Tail movies. So again, I might as well review the whole series here, even though I've already seen the first half of it. Anaconda. A famous cast including Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, and Jon Voight can't save this mundane creature feature. There are some laughably stupid moments, mainly in terms of continuity, but it's mostly too insipid to be hateable or ironically enjoyable. No characters are likable, so I don't care when anyone dies. My rating, 2 stars. Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. Unlike the original, this is semi-enjoyable B-movie trash. The plot is just the right flavor of melodramatic, and some characters are more annoying than others, though they're never intolerable. While the first movie had its share of practical effects, this time the snakes are all CG, but they look decent. My rating, 2.5 stars. Anaconda 3, Offspring. Everything's incompetent. The acting, the camera work, the effects, even the script, which is padded as hell and has no sense of proper progression. We don't care about anyone who dies, key information is revealed out of order, and Crystal Allen clearly isn't looking at the snake in its POV shots. My rating, 1 star. Anaconda's Trail of Blood. It's a direct continuation of 3, right down to the quality of the acting and effects, but this one is just straight up boring. It largely sidelines the snakes and expects us to care about these dull characters, be it their relationships or when they're taken hostage by equally uninteresting villains. My rating, 1 star. And the last review in this section, the last movie we'll be talking about, is Bill and Ted Face the Music. Now, because I've already seen the first 2 movies rather than just the first one, I'm going to do what I did with 28 Years Later and just have the third movie stand on its own. However, I did re-watch the first 2 Bill and Ted movies to prepare for the third one, and if you're curious, I think they're both just okay. Bill and Ted Face the Music. An unfunny, unnecessary waste of time. The opening immediately defies the second movie's ending, and while the first one had some nice closed loops, this one devolves into pure time travel mayhem. For both the characters and the filmmakers, it's a whirlwind of bad decisions that's more frustrating than amusing. My rating, 2 stars. Well, now we're finished with movies and moving on to the video games I played this month. Now again, I've also reviewed some other games in the form of shorts, namely the Baldur's Gate trilogy, and it's a shame I couldn't include that in this video, especially Baldur's Gate 3, because let me tell you, I'm still giddy with excitement after that one. It seriously is one of the best games I've ever played. So instead, we'll be starting with Heart of Darkness. It certainly lives up to its title. Between its high difficulty, nightmarish creature designs, and the protagonist being a mere child, it makes you feel incredibly vulnerable. The plot is typical 90s cheese that doesn't match the hold the gameplay has on you, but it's an experience you'll never forget. My rating, 3.5 stars. LEGO Racers 2. Much like LEGO Island 2, it's very different from the first game, spanning multiple semi-open worlds. It could have been somewhat fun, but the control is what kills it. I really hate how even the slightest bump in the road, however imperceptible, can send you careening in the wrong direction. My rating, 2.5 stars. Rez. A musical rail shooter in which you're a hacker journeying through cyberspace. It's certainly fun feeling the rhythm and timing your shots accordingly. The story almost doesn't matter, although after reading the profound plot summary, I'm retroactively upset that none of it shows, at least not that I could see. My rating, 3.5 stars. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. A grade A horror game about a supernatural mystery spanning 2,000 years. I love how each chapter provides a clue to finding the next one. But what really stands out is the game's scare tactics, the various ways it breaks the fourth wall and tricks you into thinking it's broken. My rating, 4.5 stars. So yeah, we end with the highest rating I gave in this entire video. Well, that's all I have to report for now. There might be another of these compilation videos on the first Saturday of next month. I don't know, it depends on how many reviews I have to make it worth it. In the meantime, I'd love to know what movies or games you've been watching or playing lately and how much you enjoyed them, so feel free to let me know down in the comments. Also, like the video, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.